Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how super quick and easy it is to install SuperATV's universal turn signal kit on this Polaris Ranger 570. So let's jump right in. The first thing that we're going to do is lift the hood and remove it from the machine. So we're going to go ahead and pull down on each of the straps. Then you can just lift the hood straight up. And then there's going to be a pin. Once you've removed the pins from either side, just go ahead and lift the hood. And then once you lift it off, you're going to have a wiring harness here for your headlights. You don't want to stretch on it too hard, so what you can do is just kind of lip it right here on the front bumper, and that way it's not going to pull on any of the wiring too hard. Then we're going to take a test light. We're going to check our accessory wire. Ground it to the frame. There's a good bolt right here to go to. We're going to reach inside, turn the key on. And as you can see, we have accessory power right there. We're going to shut the key off. We know we can use this to power up the kit, so we're going to head on inside the machine. We're just going to go ahead and remove the 6 torque screws, holding this center piece to the machine. Then once you have all the hardware removed, go ahead and lift the panel up and out of the way. Then we're going to come right here in the center of the seat and just lift it straight up. That way we can feed our wiring to the rear. Then we're just going to lift the bed latch up and flip the bed back. Next, we're going to grab our hood and lay it back up on the machine to decide where we want to mount our lights. Where we want to mount ours is going to be right here on the side. So we're just going to take our tape measure. So we'll go right here. It's going to be perfectly centered for us. So we're going to grab our paint marker and go ahead and put a mark. And we're going to apply that measurement to the opposite side. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our turn signal light out of the kit. We're going to go right here to where we put a paint mark, and we're going to use a step bit today. We found that's the easiest way. It makes the best hole. It looks like right now we're coming up on 7/8. Slide our lights in. And the way you do this is you take the rubber off of the LED, and you'll install the rubber into the plastic first. Make sure you get it in there good so it's not pinched. And then just kind of work this LED in there. And we're going to do the same exact thing for the opposite side. So now we have our harness. We're going to want to find the front portion of it. And then obviously the long side is going to be the rear. So we're going to go ahead and start feeding this harness down behind the dash. We're going to drop them right down behind the rack and pinion, straight down towards the prop shaft. Then we're going to go to the inside of the machine, grab the wiring, start pulling it through. And we're going to continue feeding the wiring to the rear. We're just going to follow the prop shaft. Stuff the wiring up underneath there like that. Pop the seat back up. Just going to reach underneath here. Grab this wiring, and we're going to start feeding it. You want to grab your harness, and you want to make sure you go to the outside. And then we're just going to run it right up here on top of the frame rail. So now we're going to figure out where we want to drill our holes in the rear. We're just going to tilt the bed forward just a little bit. And I'm thinking I want to drill it right here, directly below the tail light. If we measure it that way, it's 2 inches, so we're going to go right there in the center. And we're going to follow right down off that screw for the tail light. That's going to be where we're going to want to center. We're going to put a dot right here on the 1 inch. And we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. And we're going to go ahead and drill them just as we did in the front. Stick our wiring through, take the rubber off of here, pop it into position. We're just going to slide our light in. Just like that. And we're going to do the same thing for the opposite side. So now we have our power harness as well as the front harness. We have our indicator light wire. We have our ground wire, and then up here off the fuse, we have our 12-volt wire. So this 12-volt wire, we're going to hook it into the switched power, which we checked earlier. So the way that I'm going to run this wiring, I'm going to run everything back up underneath this crossbar. We're going to want to go ahead and take our 12-volt power wire, and we're going to just put it right there. We're going to go ahead and take the nut off the stud. So once we have the nut off the stud, we're going to take the wire that is labeled 12 volt, and we're just going to go ahead and slide it right onto the stud, and then go ahead and fully tighten it. So now we're going to grab the wires that say switch right lug, switch left lug, switch center lug, and we're going to feed them right back through the dash and through the grommet for the tilt wheel. Now we're going to locate the wire that says indicator light, and we're going to feed it through with the rest of the wires that we just fed to the inside of the machine. Next, we're going to connect the white wire on the harness to the white wire on the turn signal light. Now plug the white wire into the white wire, and then the green wire into the black wire. Now we're going to take the white wire, plug it into the white wire again, then take the yellow wire and connect it to the black. Next, we're going to locate the ground wire in the harness. It'll be labeled ground. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this bolt. I'm going to take my ground wire, which I crimped a bigger connector on it for it to work, and we're just going to go ahead and tighten this bolt down. So next we're going to grab our stalk, our spacer, and then the rest of our components. We're going to install the spacer to the stalk just like this, with the longer of the two sides facing down. We're just going to go ahead and take our screw, slide it through just like that, and we'll thread it into the clip, and we'll want to go ahead and run the screw down all the way until it touches. So about like that right there. And we're going to take our bracket and we're going to slide it up underneath the spacer, just like so. And then we're going to slide, see how this bracket moves like this? We're going to slide it as far as we can towards the inside or towards the opposite side. And then we're going to go ahead and fully tighten down this screw, and it should look just like this. So next we're going to grab the provided hose clamp. We're going to slide it through both of the holes in each of these brackets. Then we're going to wrap it right around the steering column. Feed this clamp back to itself. Once you get it close, you can usually start spinning this screw and it'll grab a hold of that clamp, and then just go ahead and fully tighten that. So now we're going to grab our wire that we previously ran up underneath the dash, labeled indicator light. And we're going to crimp a male spade connector onto this wire. Once we've done that, we're going to take this black wire that we just installed the spade onto and plug it into the blue wire coming off of our stalk. Then we're going to take our red wire and connect it to the yellow wire. Then we're going to take our green wire and hook it to the red wire on the stalk. Then we're going to take our last wire that we have, which is going to be the yellow wire on the harness and then the green wire on the stalk, and make the connection. So right here, I'm going to show you, we have our red wire coming from our harness connecting to the yellow wire on the stalk, and we have our yellow wire on our harness connecting to the green wire coming off the stalk. Then we have our green wire on our harness connecting to the red wire coming off the stalk. Then we have our blue wire on our harness connecting to the black wire. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take all our wiring and just start feeding it back towards the front of the machine. That way there's not a whole bunch of wiring hanging out. Just going to feed all that back down through there and turn our key on. Make sure that our indicator light is working. So now moving on to the rear, we're going to find our wires that are going to say signal light left turn and signal right turn. Left turn is going to be the driver's side. So we're going to take the yellow wire and the white wire, which is going to be the ground, put it over towards the driver's side. And then we're going to take our green wire, which is going to be the right turn signal, and put it over towards the passenger side. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and crimp our bullet connectors on each of these wires, just like we did in the front. And you may be wondering what this orange wire right here is going to be for. This is for a license plate light. Today we're not going to be wiring one up. If you'd like to wire it up, all you have to do is put your connector on and then have a chassis ground. That way whenever you power up the kit, it powers up the light for the license plate. So now back here in the rear, we're gonna connect our white wire to our white wire, and then our green to our black. Just like this. Make sure you get a good connection. And we're gonna head over to the other side. Take our white wire, put it to the white wire, and then our yellow to our black. Now we're gonna locate the white wire and the harness that's gonna be labeled horn. We're gonna run it up to the back side of our switch. We're gonna see how long it needs to be in order to get to the back spade. Right there, that's about how long I want my wire. So I'm gonna go ahead, add just a hair extra to it, cut it off. I'm gonna strip the wire down here. I'm gonna take my spade connector, make my connection. Get a pair of crimps, go ahead and crimp it down. And I'll just go ahead and run this wire right back there. Plug it in to the horn button. Then I'm gonna take this piece of extra wire we had. I'm gonna go ahead and strip it down on one side. Go ahead and make the connection here. So once we've connected our spade onto our extra piece of wire, what we're gonna do is we're gonna run it right up underneath here, plug it into the back side of the switch as well. We're gonna grab the orange wire in the harness that's labeled horn, and we already stripped it back. We're gonna go ahead and attach it to our spade connector again. Make sure that we got a good connection here. And we're gonna take this side of the white wire coming from the switch, crimp it on here. And now this is how much room we have to mount our horn. So obviously this is a universal kit. You can mount it anywhere you'd like. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this bolt right here that we're using to ground our kit out. And what I'm gonna do is take my ground wire, stick it on the bottom side of the bracket, and go ahead and tighten this bolt back up. And we'll make sure that our connections reach. And then before we get our wires all tied up or anything like that, we'll make sure our horn works. So now we're gonna need to mount our flasher relay to where the plug is facing straight down. You know, we really don't have a whole lot of room to move this relay around. And I'm probably just gonna put a self-tapping screw right through the plastic here. That way it holds it in place. Now all that's left is just to go through, make sure everything in the kit works. So we're gonna go ahead, get all our wires tied up. And there you have it. That's how you install SuperATV's Universal Turn Signal Kit on a Polaris midsize Ranger 570. For more information on this turn signal kit or any of SuperATV's great products, feel free to give us a call at 855-743-3427 or check us out online at superatv.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.